Welcome back to GA Fan TV. It is the live watch-along, Kerry versus Mayo in the National Football League. The live watch-along for the two counties. Apologies for the slight delay there. Was just finishing up watching the Liverpool-Newcastle match there. But here we are, Kerry versus Mayo in the National Football League, round 3. Two huge counties, as we very well know. It's always a cracker. It's always entertaining when these two play each other. And hopefully we get an absolute spectacle of a Saturday night and certainly a great game, which is obviously what we're all here to see. So obviously this is the watch-along. Be watching the game live, reacting to the game as it happens, breaking it down, everything else, interacting with some of you lads in the comments down below. We'll be doing one of these tomorrow as well for the Dublin and Cork game, and I will have Matthew Hurley of the GA Statsman coming on the watch along as well. Obviously, he's a big Cork fan. I'm a big Dublin fan, so it's bound to be a bit of crack and a bit of a laugh. Sure, why not? Always a bit of banter and a bit of alternative commentary, shall we say. Well, obviously, the game is just about to start in just a moment, so we'll just run through the sides, and if I see any late changes, I'll let you lads know. But this was the team that was named as the starting 15. So Shane Murphy in goal, Graham O'Sullivan, Jason Foley, Tom O'Sullivan in the full-back line. Pat Warren, Tyg Morley, and Paul Murphy make up the half-back line. Midfield is Jack Barry and Barry O'Sullivan. And the half-forward line is Darragh Moynihan, Paddy Clifford, and Michael Burns. And then we have the full-forward line, which is Tony Brosnan, Darragh Roach, and Donal O'Sullivan. The Mayo side is Colm Reap in goal, David McBride, Rory Brickenden, and the Hessian in the full-back line. Half-back line, Stephen Cohen, Conor Loftus, and Donncha McHugh. Midfield is Matthew Rowan and Chairman O'Connor. Half-forward line, Phil McDonough, Bob Toohey, and Jordan Flynn. And the full-forward line, Aidan O'Shea, James Carr, and Ryan O'Donoghue. Keane says, Kerry. Yeah, Kerry are playing. Keane also, another Keane says, Mayo to beat Kerry by 2 points. A super game awaits. Absolutely. It should be a very, very entertaining game. Someone asking, where can I watch this? It is on TG Cahir, which, of course, showing a lot of National League games. And they'll be showing some of the All-Ireland Championship as well, which is obviously great to see. So, here we go. The ball's just about to be thrown in. Do have the score on the screen there as well, and we'll update it as we go along. But, yeah, the ball has been thrown in. And straight away on the attack is Kerry looking to get an early score. And it looks like they have. No, it's wide. Early effort there from Darragh Moynihan, I think it was there. So Kerry getting in behind Mayo straight away, but put the effort wide. And that'll certainly be something that the Mayo fans can enjoy, seeing that effort go wide. I'll just have a look on Score BO there to see if there has been any late changes. Looks like Jack Carney's a late change for Mayo there, having a look. And then for Kerry, looks like they've gone with the starting 15 that was named. Interestingly enough, David Clifford, he's on the bench, number 23. He is on the bench. Sean O'Shea is on the bench as well. Killian Spillane on the bench. Quite the Shane Ryan's in there as well. So quite the star-studded Kerry bench, it must be said. But here come Mayo now, going down the other end, trying to get their opening score, but that one has gone well wide of the target as well. And forward run there by Conor Loftus, of course, now playing in at a centre-back, which is interesting. We normally see him around midfield or sort of in the half-forward line. Now operating in the half-back line, which is an interesting switch, an interesting change from Kevin McStay. Of course, Mayo looking to get their first win as well. Let's not forget, of the Kevin McStay era, they drew their opening 2 matches. They haven't lost yet, but they haven't won a game either. And it would be quite the statement, to be fair, if they could beat Kerry, albeit Kerry don't have, they're missing a lot of their star players, and Sean O'Shea, David Clifford. You've obviously got the likes of Paul Gainey, who's out injured at the minute. Shane Ryan's on the bench as well. A little bit of a frantic pace early on. Both sides just turning each other over. Looked like there might have been a foul off the ball there. in favour of Kerry, but not meant to be. Mayo now going down the other end. Is this going to be the opening score? It is another wide. Hopefully we don't get another game like this, because I think it was a Dublin Kildare game I did a watch along for, and it was fairly drab stuff. Yeah, the Mayo Armagh game was a bit of crack though, in fairness. Is David Clifford playing or a sub, says Gavin. He is on the bench. He is a sub. As far as I'm aware, anyway, I'm just looking on Score BO, so unless I see him out there in a few minutes, but I think he's on the bench from what I can gather anyway. Doesn't look like he's playing, but yeah, he's on the bench. Sean O'Shea's on the bench as well. You've also got Killian Spillane there, Shane Ryan as well. So Kerry have got a very star-studded bench. So if things hit the fan, Kerry will know who to turn to and who to bring on. And I think if this game is evenly poised with 15, 20 minutes to go, you know, from a Mayo perspective, you nearly want to be 4 or 5 points up in the final 15 minutes, because when Clifford and Sean O'Shea comes on, I mean, they might be a little bit rusty. That's the only thing. But Mayo now trying to attack. It looked like Aidan O'Shea on the ball, but he's been dispossessed. Both sides just turning each other over loads here in the opening 4 minutes. Mayo now get another turnover in there. Conor Loftus doing a bit of work. Stephen Cohen in there as well. Plenty of high challenges, feistiness, as it always is between Mayo and Kerry. It wouldn't be any different. And 4 minutes in, we have yet to see a score between these two. Hopefully we're not waiting too long. Kerry's midfield now on the ball there. Barry O'Sullivan. Here they go on the attack, Kerry. Are they going to get the opening score? Looked like there might have been a foul off the ball, but nothing doing there. Kerry still in possession. Trying to find an opening. Tony Brosnan might have been fouled there. So this will be an opportunity for the first score of the game for Kerry. Tony Brosnan being dragged back there by McHugh of Mayo. Young lad, I think, coming into the side. Not too familiar with himself there. But here's a chance for Tony Brosnan, standing over the free. Big opportunity for him. Can he put this one over the bar, and can it be the first score of the game? And it goes well wide of the target. So both sides have had a couple of wides here in the opening 5 minutes. I think 2 or 3 wides apiece in the opening 5 minutes. Hopefully it's the tight. The last 2 meetings, Kerry were comfortable, says Gavin. Yeah. Well, I suppose with the fact it's in McHale Park, you would expect that it would be closer. And the fact that obviously Kerry are missing a lot of their players. But there looks like maybe the opening score, another wide. Kerry did get the turnover. It was Paddy Clifford who had the effort, put it wide of the target. I think that's 4 wides for Kerry in the opening 5 minutes. Just a little bit of rustiness maybe there from a Kerry perspective. But yeah, I suppose in what you were saying there, like, yeah, I think it would have been in McHale Park. You know, the Mayo fans will be up for the team. I think with some of the Kerry lads missing as well, you would hope it's a closer game. Hopefully it is. And neither side really has found their groove yet, it must be said, though. Here's Aidan O'Shea. He's won a lot of ball earlier. He's driving through the middle, offloads it back. That's definitely a high challenge there. Surely a foul. Definitely is a foul on James Carr. Was going through the middle. Definitely a pullback. So this will surely, you'd imagine, be the opening score for Mayo. Ryan O'Donoghue, as we know, reliable as ever on place balls. And you would fully expect him now to put this one over the bar and for it to be the first score of the game. Good bit of play though by Aidan O'Shea. We've seen the impact he made against Armagh. And sort of, you know, playing that good ball into him. He was causing havoc. He's such a hard player to dispossess, Aidan O'Shea, when he gets the ball. Because he's such a big, stocky lad, isn't he? You know, like it's very, very hard to get the ball off him once he has it. And I think him being that sort of link man rather than a, you know, out and out scorer, or even as a midfielder, I think we're seeing good work out of him, and he was very involved there for the opening score, which Ryan O'Donoghue has put over the bar. So Mayo get the opening score of the game. And Kerry now trying to go down the other end. Got a bit of work there by Conor Loftus. And Mayo. Both sides have started fast. They've started at a good pace, but I suppose in the opening 6 minutes, just the shooting has been let down. I think if both teams can continue at this pace, I think it will definitely be a good game. And here come Mayo now. Great forward ball. Mark called, I think, by James Carr. See, I suppose he has to go for the point, doesn't he? He's a long way out. It was a long way out to call a mark. It looks like he might have got it. He just has. That's a brilliant point there by James Carr. Brilliant score. Looked like maybe it was going to loop on top of the goalkeeper. And maybe even result in a bit of a goal mouth scramble, but it just about creeps over the bar. So Mayo have the opening 2 scores of the game. And very strong there on the kick out. They turn the ball over. There might be a chance of a goal. Ryan O'Donoghue racing through. And it's in the back of the net. It's a goal for Ryan O'Donoghue. And it's a goal for Mayo. It looked like he nearly hand-passed it in the back of the net, but everyone's celebrating. He must have kicked it. It all comes from the kick out. Shane Murphy's ball, dispossessed. Just a bit of a coming together. Aidan O'Shea picks it up, plays it into Ryan O'Donoghue. Runs at the heart of the Kerry defence. Tyg Morley's on him there. Can't get anywhere near him. And it's just a cute little finish there over the top of Shane Murphy. And Kerry are 5 points down here in the opening 9 minutes. A strong start by Mayo. That's a brilliant lead. And as I was saying, I think it's important for Mayo to start fast, to start strong. Because of the fact that, Kerry will probably bring on David Clifford and Sean O'Shea in the final 15 minutes if they need them. So, but lovely goal and lovely press on the kick out from Mayo there. And Kerry with a bit of work to do. We'll update that score 1-2 to nothing. Great finish is what Days Off says. Yeah, it was a brilliant finish. It was a smart finish because you're looking at it on the TV and you're thinking, how did he get the connection with his foot? Because the ball was so close to his chest. But fair play, he managed to. That's the sign of a brilliant footballer. And Ryan O'Donoghue is undoubtedly one of the best players in the country, in my opinion, on his day. And he's got great agility. Like he's weaving left and right. You don't know which way he's going. Kerry have got their first point of the game. Look like free there from Tony Brosnan, maybe. Mayo now going down the other end. They're being very direct, running at Kerry, and effort coming in there from goes well wide of the target. Kerry this time going short with the kick out. I think the most important thing for Kerry is just to not fall too far behind and try to get themselves into the game as well. It was Fionn McDonough with that earlier effort for Mayo that went wide. And here comes a bit of explosiveness from Donny O'Sullivan, but he loses possession. Darragh Roach with that free for Kerry earlier. 4 points between the sides. Mayo have started fast. Kerry, they've ran at Mayo as well, and they've looked to play the ball fast, but maybe just the quality not quite there yet from a Kerry perspective. That's a great bit of defensive work there from Graham O'Sullivan to get the turnover, and Kerry back in possession now. I have to say, the opening 11 minutes, it's been played at a great intensity. Both sides are going for each other. There's some great football on show. I think the end product's maybe been lacking from a Kerry perspective, but you would expect the more this game goes on, the more we will see a bit more of that. Mayo get another turnover there. And here they go now. going down the other end. Bit of a sloppy pass. Kerry do get the turnover. I think psychologically it'd be a huge win for Mayo if they do go on to win this. That's a bit of a drab pass there from a Kerry perspective. Goes well wide of the touchline. Donny O'Sullivan, no way he could get on the end of that. I'm not too sure who played the pass, but Kerry just lacking their mojo. I mean, in fairness, it did take them a while to get going against Monaghan. From what I remember, it took them about 20 minutes or so to really sort of get into their groove. And against Donegal, they probably never really got going. But Kerry still have some tough games to go after this as well. So, they'll want to try and make a fist out of this as much as possible. And in fairness, a long way to go, yeah. Rory says, shocking start for the Kingdom. Yeah, been a slow start, conceding 1-2. I think 4 or 5 wides as well. A bit uncharacteristic, like from a Kerry perspective. And Mayo have looked very sharp and very quick on the ball. A lot of quick hand passes. You can see they're looking inside time and time again for Aidan O'Shea. There's Jordan Flynn, makes a bit of space for himself, and that's another brilliant score there for Mayo. Big score there from Jordan Flynn, and Mayo regain a 5-point lead. A little bit lapsed there from Kerry, like no one really. Tyg Morley was the closest man to him. He didn't really get close enough to him, to be fair. And Mayo, it's been a bit too easy for Mayo so far, and that sort of, when we think of the Kerry defence, we think of the fact that they only conceded, 2 goals last season in both league and championship in 16 games. Well, they've conceded a goal here, and they've looked a little bit lax at the back at times, which has been a bit uncharacteristic of Kerry. And it is still obviously a long way to go. Here's Darragh Roach. Paddy Clifford. Are Kerry going to maybe create a goal chance of their own? They maybe could have gone for the point. Opportunity does present itself, and that is a fine score there from a Kerry perspective. Darragh Roach again, his second point of the game, and Kerry bring it back down to a 4-point game. Lovely turn on his left boot. In fairness, Darragh Roach has been the one player that I think, I suppose along with Donald O'Sullivan last week as well, that's really sort of stood up and staked his claim for maybe coming into, I suppose, the best starting senior team, obviously, when O'Shea and Clifford come back. Mayo dilly-dallying a little bit on the ball there, get caught. And here come Kerry going down the other end, but that shot is going to drag wide. And it was the effort there by Dara Moynihan, well wide of the target. These are the chances that, you'd normally see Kerry pop over. You'd normally see them score these chances when it, comes to All-Ireland, All-Ireland semi-finals and quarterfinals and big games and everything else, but just not quite there yet from a Kerry perspective in terms of shooting. I think that's been the big thing that's let them down so far. Kerry starting like Tyrone last year, says Rory. I mean, yeah, like they do have a win on the board, and I suppose there probably are maybe some similarities there, but you would expect Kerry to, with the quality of their team, with the strongest starting 15 that they have, you'd expect them to, certainly not continue that trend like Tyrone did last year. But I suppose only time will tell in relation to that one. Kerry just taking the sting out of Mayo here, trying to keep possession, be calm, be cool. Dara Moynihan drifting into midfield, picking the ball up. So far, 16 minutes in, Kerry trailing by Mayo. Mayo leading by 4 points, 1-3 to 2 points. And you'd have to say it's been a strong start from a Mayo perspective. I mean, Kerry have certainly created the chances and they've had 4 or 5 wides. You think if they had to put 3 or 4 of them over, they'd be level in the game at least. But it's just been that shooting that's let them down. But here they are now, just really taking the sting out of the game, slowing the game down. Tony Brosnan running at the Mayo defence. He's got Cohen alongside him, but drops it short. That's another opportunity that goes begging from a Mayo perspective, or from a Kerry perspective, I should say. Calm Reap coming out with the ball. And yeah, it's been the pace that we've seen in the opening sort of 10, 12 minutes has definitely dropped off quite a bit now, and it's definitely slowed down quite a bit in terms of pace. But generally speaking, it you would expect that Kerry just really trying to take the sting out of the game and take the sting out of Mayo's sort of intensity that they've brought, at the start of this game. Just looking at a bit of an incident off the ball maybe there, potentially. Not really much going on there between Aidan O'Shea and one of the Kerry players. Will you be doing a watch-along for Dublin and Cork? I will be, yeah, and I'll have Matthew Hurley from the GA Statsman show to come on. Obviously, he's a Cork fan, so be a bit of entertainment, bit of fun, obviously. Myself being a Dublin fan, himself being a Cork fan. I will definitely try and get more people on these watch-alongs as we go along, but we'll probably wait until maybe Championship before we start doing that. But yeah, the intensity's definitely slowed down. I think about 2-3 minutes has gone by now without a single thing that's really happened. Kerry just keeping possession for large parts, trying to be patient. Mayo are very well defensively organised, you'd have to say. But here come Kerry now, breaking through the lines. Is that a chance for a score? It's another one that's gone well wide of the target there. Might even have gone out for a sideline. And it was the young lad, or Pa Warren, obviously. New player coming into the side. Not too sure if he is a young player or if he's just like a club player or what the crack is there. But coming in there. And, he's not expected to be finishing from there. Probably should have just retained possession. You've got the David Clifford in the stands there watching on. We've got Killian Spillane watching on. Didn't see Sean O'Shea there, unless I just didn't see him. But interesting nonetheless. Here come Kerry trying to work through the lines, but couldn't quite do so. Mayo now breaking out. They've just been a bit more direct, a bit quicker on the ball, Mayo, a bit sharper. And there we go, that long direct ball into Aidan O'Shea. It doesn't work, but it does cause carnage, and there might have been... Aidan O'Shea maybe could have kicked that off the ground, but chose not to. It did look like a penalty. I think it was Jordan Flynn who went in there. It looked like he was dragged back, and it's going to be a penalty for Mayo. When you think Kerry only conceded 2 goals in the league and championship last year from play, and they've already conceded 1 from play, and well, they might be about to concede. But I think it was 2 goals in total. I think they conceded last year, actually, and they might just be about to concede 2 goals in the space of about 20 minutes. So, it's not a penalty then. It's a free in. It looked like a penalty there for me, but maybe I'll need to see that again. Ryan O'Donoghue puts it over the bar. Looked in the box from what I could see there. Maybe the foul started outside it, and that's why he's given the free. But You would have to say Kerry got away with that one. They definitely got away with that one. I mean, especially when Aidan O'Shea had the ball, he stopped, didn't he? So I thought the referee had called a penalty there, but not the case. Not the case. Nonetheless, a point for Ryan O'Donoghue. So Kerry back into a 5-point lead, and Kerry sloppy again. Mayo now going down. Matthew Rowan with the forward ball. There might be another chance for a goal. James Carr loves a goal, and that is a brilliant, brilliant finish there by James Carr. They didn't get the penalty a couple of minutes ago, but they do get another goal, and it is 2 goals from play, and it is James Carr again. He loves a banger, and that is another one. Look at that. Brilliant, brilliant finish. Low and hard. He's got so much power in that right boot. You nearly would think he should just go for goals every time he gets the ball, and that is brilliant, brilliant finish from James Carr. And Mayo are looking very, very strong here. I mean, what is that now? They're, 8 points in front? That is a big lead after 23 minutes. And the All-Ireland champions are getting a bit of a baiting here in Castlebar in the opening 23 minutes. And look, I know the obvious thing to point out will be that Kerry don't have a lot of players, but that is their strong, that full back line of Jason Foley, Graham O'Sullivan, Tom O'Sullivan, Tyke Morley in a halfback. That is their strong, that's their strongest defence. Fair enough, you'd expect Shane Ryan to come back in, and you would expect Gavin White maybe to come back in as well. I don't think, is Paul Murphy playing? I'm not too sure if he's playing, but there maybe are a few lads to come in there. But generally speaking, it's more or less Kerry's best team defensively, and yeah, we will we'll update that score. So much has happened. It is a one-man show here, so I do have to try do the graphics myself as we're watching at the same time. Kerry go down the other end, trying to get a response, but well wide of the target. Darren says, "Gotta save that." I don't know. Like, it was. I mean, he hit with a lot of pace, and it was low as well. Like, I don't know. I think that was a really strong effort. To be fair, I'm not too sure if. I mean, I'll need to have another look at it again, but it looked like it was in the corner. Am I looking at that scoreboard right? Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But look, it is the league, to be fair. It is the league. I love Kerry, but my blood runs Mayo. Yeah, like, and I'm sure your blood's very happy at the minute because it's looking good this for Mayo. It's looking very, very good, and they've looked. This is the best we've seen Mayo play so far this year. Ryan O'Donoghue with a lovely turn ends up hitting the post. Mayo nearly went 9 points in front. Lovely effort there from Ryan O'Donoghue. Just hits the outside of the post. And it stays at a 8-point game. Kerry needs to get to grips with this game. 2 points after 25 minutes. Not really good enough from the All-Ireland champions. And, I think at the fee here, like, it's a long way back to potentially get back into a league final. And, Kerry might be more looking over their shoulder rather than what's in front of them. But we certainly know they have the tools and they have the areas at their disposal to make a good stab at this second half. Unlucky. It was unlucky. Yeah, it was a lovely effort by O'Donoghue, in fairness. And James Carr, what a start he's made to the league. I mean, he scored a brilliant goal and against Galway. That was in Castlebar as well. He scored a brilliant point early on in this game. Brilliant goal as well. He's played very well so far. And, he wasn't really a starting name on the starting team sheet for James Horn. Like, I don't think James Horn ever really fancied him that much. But under Kevin McStay, I think he started last week as well. So, he might just be a bit of a coup for Mayo this year. Especially if you get Tommy Conroy back at some point as well. But here come Mayo now going down the other end. This should be a score. And it is a score. It's a lovely one. It's Jordan Flynn again, who's started very well, it must be said. Very impressive player. Very strong runner, and that was a brilliant score there from Jordan Flynn as Mayo go into a 9-point lead. I mean, I'd be curious to know for Mayo fans watching. I mean, it's or for Kerry fans watching, I should say, what you think about this performance, this game so far. I mean, 9 points down. It's not really a good look, but is it a case of lads missing? Is it a case just of that, or is there more to it? I don't really know, but it has been a very flat performance from them so far, and you would really expect them or need them to make a fist of it here in the second half, or towards the end of the first half, and going into the second half. I think they've scored just 1 point from play in the first half as well, which is a little bit uncharacteristic from a Kerry perspective. Rory says David Clifford will be thinking he needs to come on. Yeah, absolutely. Score update. The score should be on the screen there. Mayo 2-5, Kerry 2 points. Hopefully you lads can see that those crests and everything else up on the screen. Otherwise, I'm just updating the score for no reason. But yeah, the score should be on the screen there. It is 2-5 to 2 points. So Mayo 9 points in front, which is quite a margin there. Cliff and Shawnee to come on at half time. Yeah, like maybe so, yeah, because the forwards have definitely underperformed so far. I mean, Donald O'Sullivan hasn't really been in the game, to be fair. Darragh Roach has been the only Kerry forward that's really done that, and he's been the only scorer in the first half. And Kerry just look like they're run ragged here as Ryan O'Donoghue jumping high, calls the mark. A good bit out, but it's definitely Ryan O'Donoghue territory. And makes no mistake again. Another score for Ryan O'Donoghue, 2-6 now to 2 points. So Mayo 10 points in front after half an hour, and Kerry are looking all over the place here. It's always good as a Dublin fan to see Kerry get a bit of a beating, isn't it? Doesn't happen too often, so when it does, we might as well enjoy it. But I would still expect Kerry to eat into this lead and have a good patch at some point. And as other people have said, maybe you do bring on Sean O'Shea and David Clifford at half time. But I suppose maybe it will tell us, how invested is Jack O'Connor in the league this year. Because if he doesn't bring on Clifford, if he doesn't bring on Sean O'Shea, maybe he's looking at it and thinking, this result doesn't really matter too much. But Mayo are just winning every second ball. They're turning them over at notice. Another one goes over the bar. This is one of the best first half performances, or best performances I've seen from Mayo in a long, long time, it must be said. And that is a brilliant, brilliant score. This time from Jeremy O'Connor. To think they don't even have Killian O'Connor out on the pitch as well. Kevin McStay must be absolutely delighted with what he has seen in this first half. And if Kerry don't get the grips with this, this could be 15 or 16, and that is mental, really, isn't it? That would be crazy. Even if it is the league, and even if there are players missing and everything else. Just one score so far for Kerry. Darragh Roach with both of the points. A lot of wides, and they've gone direct again, Kerry. They keep going direct into Donald O'Sullivan. He does win the ball ahead of one of the Mayo defenders there. Dave McBride, I think it was. And Mayo are just very well organised here defensively. They're not allowing Kerry to have that goal chance. There's an absolute slicer there from one of the Kerry players. No, not much on it at all there. And that probably sums Kerry up, who look absolutely legless. And Mayo now are on the counter-attack. Mayo look like they're playing at their vintage best here from when we've seen them in their absolute prime in 16 and 17. The counter-attack does break down, though, so Kerry do have the ball again now. And that looks like a good score, and that will stem the blood flow a little bit there. Kerry get their first score in God knows how long. It's Tony Brosnan's a lovely point on his left boot. And that will make, I wouldn't say the scoreline less embarrassing, but it is a point, and maybe that will bring a bit of confidence now for Kerry. Jack O'Connor watching on, hands in the pockets. He's probably thinking, this isn't really what we travelled down for, lads. This isn't what we travelled west for. But what you would say is, if you are Jack O'Connor, if you are Kerry fans watching on, you're thinking, by God, wrap Sean O'Shea and David Clifford up in cotton wool, because without those two lads available in the championship, Kerry could be in big, big trouble this year. And defensively as well, Kerry have just looked absolutely all over the place. Mayo running absolute rings around Kerry, and Jordan Flynn gets another one. 3 points now for him. Another fantastic point from Jordan Flynn. 2-8 in the first half. Mayo have looked bang up for this, and be curious to know what Mayo fans are thinking watching this. I mean, did you see a performance like this coming? Did you see a scoreline like this coming? And how much can you really read into this with the fact that it is obviously so early on in the league? But, if Kerry or if Mayo can produce these performance levels, this kind of performance level when it comes to the championship, I'm not saying they'll win it or anything like that, but, they'll be a tough team. They'll be a tough proposition and a tough team to beat, it must be said. But yeah, 2-8 to 3 points is the score there in favour of Mayo. Darren says Mayo looking good. Casey says it ain't over till it's over, and that is true. Don't know if Clifford could save this, says Gavin. Yeah, it's just an absolute rout. And here goes James Carr, just drags it a little bit wide. Was nearly another one for him. It could also be because the monkey's off their back, says Rory, maybe in relation to the All-Ireland win last year. They have that monkey off their back. So, but at the same time, you want to keep consistency. You want to keep up the good performances. Even going back to my own county, Dublin, when we were winning the 5-6s in a row, like we were winning league titles, or we were getting to league finals, or we were thereabouts. I think we got to 4 or 5 league finals in a row. And fair enough, that was one of the greatest teams of all time. And I don't think we should compare this Kerry team to that Dublin team just yet. But I think at the same time, winning breeds confidence. You need to get the best out of your squad. And not only that, you want to keep the wins ticking, keep the trophies coming in, capitalize on a sort of golden era, which to be fair, Kerry kind of usually do always have a golden era. I've never really remembered Kerry having a bad team, maybe 2015 or 2016 or something like that. But generally, Kerry have always been a very, very good side. So Ryan says, better keep this up next half. Lee Keegan would be proud. He certainly would be. He would be, and he'd be proud of, those attacking runs and running off the shoulder, which we've seen Mayo do a lot. I mean, that's kind of vintage Lee Keegan when you think of his attacking work. And obviously defensively as well, been absolutely solid. So, but yeah, you'd expect a halftime whistle maybe to go in the next couple of seconds. Just the intensity in Mayo's tackle is really, really high. Got Aidan O'Shea tracking back, getting in tackles. Mayo are just first to every ball, and to be fair, Kerry have done well here to sort of play around it. Maybe they might be able to get a goal chance right before the end of the half. Played it in for Donald O'Sullivan. It was Dara Moynihan, I think, who cut through and tried to play it into the square for Dara Roach, but didn't quite happen. Stays at a 11-point game. Podrick says, afraid to watch the Me Derry review. Well, I don't think I wasn't too harsh on Mead. I don't think, to be fair. I mean, it's one of them. It's just one of them bad results that they need to go out and put right the next day against Louth. But it is half time there. Mayo 2-8 to 3 points at half time. Mayo absolutely cruising. It must be said at half time. A lot of work needs to be done for Mayo in this second half, or for Kerry in this second half. In my opinion, we're going to take a short break, and then we will be back in just a moment. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what people's thoughts, people's opinions have been. Keane says here, Mayo's defense has been immense. It definitely has been. It's been really, really strong. I mean, Kerry have been fairly toothless in attack, to be fair, and their shooting's been way, way off. But it's definitely been a very, very disappointing performance from a Kerry perspective. But from Mayo, like the likes of Dave McBride, in there. When you think of the changes of the Mayo defense this year, the fact you don't have Lee Keegan, you don't have Oisin Mullen obviously as well, who's gone to play AFL. So there's been a lot of changes in that Mayo defense. Like you've got McHugh in there at wing back, David McBride, Rory Bricken. That fullback line of David McBride and the goalkeeper, David McBride, Rory Brickenden, Enda Hessian, and Colm Reap. Like that is a very inexperienced goalkeeper and back line in terms of intercounty football. Do you know that way? Like Enda Hessian, fair enough, he's been playing the last couple of years for Mayo in that full back line and sometimes even at wing back, but like he's a young lad himself as well. Like so it's a very inexperienced full back line. So the fact that they've done as well as they have to keep out Donald O'Sullivan, who hasn't really been too much in the game, Tony Brosnan, Paddy Clifford's been fairly anonymous. You need to even forget he's playing. He hasn't really had any impact on the game. So yeah, definitely a lot of positives there from a Mayo perspective. Mikey says Jordan Flynn is fast becoming one of the top 5 players in the country. He's looked very, very strong. Like I don't know if I'd put him in that bracket just yet, but he's only young as well. I think he's in his early 20s. He's a strong build physically, he's got pace. And now, and to be fair, like he's been very consistent in his scoring this year. And he's a big, tall player, big, tall presence to be running at your halfback line. So yeah. What channel is it on? TG Cahar. Jacko will bring his big guns on at half time. Yeah, you'd expect him to bring on. It'd be interesting if he even does bring them on, though, because, I suppose it's up to Jack O'Connor. Like, how much does he really care too much about the league? Because, like, Kerry definitely aren't going to get relegated. You lose this game and you might sneak into a league final, but it depends. I mean, everyone's kind of beaten everyone, to be fair, so far in Division 1. So maybe they might get into a league final. So it depends really, how much does Jack O'Connor really care about the league. But yeah, what we'll do is we will run through some Twitter comments to see what people have been saying on social media there so far. Let's see what the general public have to say about this game, because I'd say there's definitely been a lot of people expressing their opinion. If we can get away from the Irish Times, GAA edit says Jordan Flynn having an excellent game. Mayo playing with much more intensity, and the system McStay is implementing is lovely to watch. can't wait to see it develop as the season goes on. Yeah, I mean, the intensity they're playing with, the way they're moving the ball, they're mixing it up as well. Like, they're not just playing a fast run game, which they often sort of employed under James Horan. Like, they're moving the ball quickly, they're moving the ball fast, they're pressing up on kickouts, and they're very well organised defensively as well, to be fair. Des Cahill says, watching Mayo get off to a flying start while we wait for Carl Spain to come on the stage. Fair enough. Tell you what, we'll have a look at what some of the experts are saying, shall we? Good old Colin Parkinson always has quite the opinion, but he hasn't said that on the Mayo Kerry game yet. But he did say demolition job by Derry. They defend in numbers. We'll just type in Kerry here, and we'll hopefully get a couple of people chatting about Kerry. Adam Moynihan says Mayo 2A, Kerry 3 points. Credit to Mayo, who are looking really, really sharp and hungry, but that was so poor from Kerry, giving up soft scores at one end and malfunctioning at the other. Massive improvement needed to get out of here with any credit to their name. And yeah, look, that's exactly the point. You know, like from a Kerry perspective, it's, you know, losing away to Mayo, losing at McHale Park, like, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, Kerry have lost at McHale Park plenty of times, but it's just about coming out with a bit of dignity. And as we see that goal flash in there from James Carr, I mean, it was an absolute rocket of a finish. Kevin McStay not even celebrating, just turning away, not even too much of as we see it there. Look at that little turn, bang. What a strike. Could the goalkeeper have saved it, as what someone said earlier? I mean, I'm not too sure really if you can get much on that. Like that's strong. Maybe the keeper should have been better positioned, but yeah, our good friend GA Statsman with some stats in the first half there. So as we can see, Mayo with 66% conversion rate is what stands out for me there. Very, very clinical in front of goal. But look at it from a Kerry perspective. Don't know if can I highlight that. What am I saying? Highlight that there? I don't think I can. But Kerry there, total shots 11. They've scored 3, 27% accuracy. That has been very, very poor indeed. Another thing we're pointing out from a Mayo perspective as well, actually, is they've only conceded 7 frees, but none of them have been scoring like huge scoring chances. So I think Mayo's sort of discipline has been very, very strong as well. I suppose we might as well run through the halftime scores while we have this up on the screen. So Ryan O'Donoghue with 1-3 so far. The goal from play, 3 of his points have come from place balls. James Carr with 1-1. Jordan Flynn with 3 points, who's been man of the match so far. Jeremy O'Connor in there with a score as well. And then from a Kerry perspective, Darrell Roach with 2 points and Tony Brosnan with a point. So very, very strong stuff there. From a Kerry perspective, or from a Mayo perspective, and McGrearty, who is a Mayo fan, says champagne football, albeit Kerry poor. They certainly are very poor. And Buff Egan says, what a first half by Mayo. Kerry are getting a merryful beaten. An all merryful beaten. Yeah, they certainly are. They're getting absolutely humbled, it must be said. And it's great to see. It's absolutely great to see. But we all know Kerry, you know, they have the players there, they have the talent. I would still fully, you know, they're still the All-Ireland favourites for me, even despite what we've seen in this first half. You know, I don't think we can overreact too much, in my opinion. But it's been very, very strong, very, very strong from Mayo in that first half. Tommy Rooney says here, shadow Kerry side for sure, but you can't deny how well Mayo's attack is beginning to function. Some really positive moments. They lead by 11 at the break. Surely Jack unleashes the two boys off the leash for the second half. And I suppose Mikey was saying there earlier about Jordan Flynn, and Jim says here Jordan Flynn has arrived. What force makes the Aidan O'Shea experiment complete by taking midfield responsibilities off the play? Yeah, he's doing the work around the middle, but he's also doing a lot of attacking work as well, isn't he? He's breaking that line sort of between defense and attack, or midfield and attack, and he's been excellent. Another interesting comment here from Kieran in response to Tommy, who says the best half of football I've seen from Mayo in the last 3 years. Only thing close was the second half of the semi-final versus Dublin in 2021. I think he means there. Everyone is incredibly on task from 115 defence and men so far. And to be honest, I would even say that first half performance is better than the Dublin game, because Mayo didn't really turn up in that game until about 50, 55 minutes. It wasn't until the German O'Connor flick, in my opinion, that Mayo really got going. So yeah, I think they've been absolutely sensational. Absolutely brilliant, it must be said, in that first half. But look, it's all about consistency, and it's about keeping it going. And it obviously, I wouldn't get the Mayo for Sam banners out just yet. I'd certainly wait until we get to the business end of the championship before we start jumping on the hype train. But at the same time, Mayo fans are entitled to enjoy what they've seen in the first half. And if Dublin were beating Kerry by 2-8 to 3 points at half time, I would certainly be over the moon right now. So Mayo fans, very, very entitled to be as happy as they are. Turnovers have been key for Mayo. They definitely have a lot of turnovers there. It's going to be an easy one for Mayo, says Beast. Mayo are in the driving seat. McHale Park, says Casey there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the game is in McHale Park, unless I've seen something different there. Or maybe it's in a different stadium, is it? Jack says Kerry can't be as bad second half, lacking pace up front. Didn't think they'd give up goals as easy as the first one. Good finish, but the second one, shocking, would be sensational if they come back, but can't see it. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. And the way Mayo are playing, Mayo are playing very, very well. If there probably will be a drop off in the second half in terms of the way they've played, because usually when you have such a big lead, it's just about managing the game. And Mayo, the last thing Mayo want is to run themselves into any injuries or anything like that. But yeah, Rory says Kerry haven't been in these situations since 2018. Yeah, you'd think a long way back since Kerry have been 11 points down at half time in a competitive game. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember the last time Kerry have been 10 or 11 points down at half time in a match. I remember there was one year in the league, I think it was 2013 or 2014, where the opening 3 or 4 games in the league, they just got absolutely battered, but they won their last 3 games and stayed up in the end. So you probably nearly have to go back to that year when Kerry were really poor. But Jack will be giving them some words. He certainly will be. He'll be laying into the lads. I mean, you've seen how disappointed and annoyed Jack O'Connor was when they got beat by Donegal. Obviously, he was more annoyed with the referees or the umpires, but you could see that rage in his voice. And he's a winner, Jack O'Connor. He wins trophies, he wins major honours, leagues, All Irelands. He wants to win as much as possible, and I'm sure he'd be laying into those lads. Play for Kerry, there has to be a certain standard that you have to uphold. Kerry are the most successful county in the history of the All Ireland Senior Football Championship, and in terms of major honours. And when you put on, when you have that badge, on your left hand side on the jersey, you need to play for it, and Kerry definitely haven't done that in the first half. Kerry having 57% possession is mad. Yeah, there was there was times in the game where Kerry tried to like slow the game down, and sort of like take the sting out of Mayo's attack and try and like just grind their way back into the game, but it just didn't work. Like nothing really ever came of the attacks, and they were sort of just keeping the ball without really doing much, really. And whereas when Mayo have had the ball, like they've gone at Kerry's throat, and probably the possession stat is probably from kickouts, because like how many times has Shane Murphy had to kick the ball out, you know? So yeah, Dylan says Clifford, surely, come on, we'll see now. Both sides are coming out at the start of the second half. The cameras haven't panned to David Clifford, so you'd imagine he isn't on, and the Kerry team is out. So I'm not too sure what the changes have been, but it doesn't look like David Clifford is coming on from what I can see there. But let's see what's about to happen now at the start of the second half as the Mayo team come out. Kerry team were out first at the start of the second half, as you would probably expect. I think Jack O'Connor probably just laid into them and told them to get back out there and get into it. And you'd expect a fight here from a Kerry perspective. Just looking at it there, it doesn't look like Kerry have made any subs, which will be a surprise. Darren said he's on. Maybe he is. Maybe he is on. We'll have to see. He's not involved in the throw, and I suppose the only change in the game, well, there was a change, obviously. Well, that was right before half time, wasn't it, when Jeremy O'Connor went off with what looked like a bit of an injury. But we are underway for the start of the second half. So Mayo 2-8 to 3 points up, and straight away they win the throw in with Aidan O'Shea, wins the free as well. So Mayo looking to start on the front foot and looking to continue the pace and momentum that they applied in the first half. And I think Colm Reap maybe is going to come up to take this chance, and he'll certainly be in no rush to take it. You'd imagine Mayo going to try slow the sort of game down as much as possible. But yeah, Colm Reap standing over it. Big opportunity to put Mayo 12 points in front, which is a big margin, and goes well wide of the target. But quick bit of thinking there, I think, from, I'm not too sure who it was, but it was going well wide of the target. And Fionn McDonough, he just slaps the ball back. It ends up hitting, I think, Tyg Morley, and goes out for a 45. So they make the best of a bad situation there. And this will be, I suppose, attempt number 2 for Colm Reap in a similar position. Gavin says fair play to Mayo, but their bib jersey is disgusting. I didn't actually see their bib jersey. I'll need to have another look at that. But they certainly have gone for some interesting jerseys, all right. Even that goalkeeper jersey, it kind of gives me like Mexico 1970 vibes type thing or something. But here goes Colm Reap. Is he going to put it over this time? He certainly does. That's a great score from Colm Reap, the man who's taken over from Robbie Henley. I don't know if Robbie Henley will be back by the time the championship comes around, or is Colm Reap just the number 1 now? I'm not sure, but he certainly got the composure from the ground from those 45s in a similar fashion to Robbie Henley. So it's a great score, and Mayo get the first point of the second half, and Kerry have a lot of work to do in the second half. A lot of work to do. 12 points. I think the thing is, from a Kerry perspective, if you're a Kerry fan, you know, if this was Dublin, and if this was Mayo versus Dublin right now, as a Dublin fan, I would, and Dublin were the ones being hammered, which, to be fair, was happening quite regularly last year in the league. You just want a bit of fight and a bit of heart in the second half. Fair enough if you lose the game, but just draw the game back as much as possible, because if Kerry were to get beat by 15 or more, like that is just not it's not a good look for Kerry football, is it? And I'm sure they would bounce back. But there is David Clifford. He definitely is on, all right. So he is on and he does score. So he definitely is on the field. You see him once he gets the ball. He's an instinctive player, and within seconds of coming on, he makes an instant impact and puts it over the bar. So David Clifford is on. I must have completely missed him. Maybe I was speaking while he did come on there, but Clifford is on, and Kerry do have their first point of the second half. There is that a black card for David Clifford, or it's a yellow card? David Clifford gets a yellow card for his troubles as well. Must have been a bit of afters there. Gets the ball, goes around, player puts it over. And I'm not too sure why has he got the yellow card. Oh, there we go. He pushes as a Rory Brickenden right over there. Yeah, I suppose you'd probably look at it and think that is a fair decision in the end. David Clifford bringing that fight though, and although he's got a yellow card for his troubles, straight away makes an impact. And I suppose Kerry will be trying to get him on the ball as much as possible. And I think this is good from a Mayo perspective as well, because they might end up having to play Kerry again at some point further down the line in the championship, or possibly even more. Here's a Macho Rowan, puts it well wide of the target, but I think the ref might be calling it back maybe for a foul, possibly. But 2-9 to 4 points after about 40 minutes. Colm Reap is going to come up again for another chance. Looked like Master Rowan was maybe had his shirt pulled maybe as he was sort of running through there. So that is the reason for that. Nothing really comes of it there, but Mayo do have the ball in a good position. And it is Aidan O'Shea who's causing a lot of havoc. He's such a hard player to dispossess. Plays it into Jordan Flynn, who's been outstanding, and adds another point. 4 points now for Jordan Flynn. And you have to say, like, that physicality in those areas of the pitch with the likes of Aidan O'Shea into Jordan Flynn. That's a great score. A great score. Look at that. Like, he just bounces Ty Morley off him, just like a tennis ball. He just completely just throws him on the ground. No malice in it. Just it was more Ty Morley trying to make the challenge, and he just bounced back off him. He's a big man, that Jordan Flynn. So great score, and it brings it back. Sean O'Shea, who's also on at half-time, and he's trying to make an impact now on the ball. So Sean O'Shea and David Clifford both on. Be interesting to see if they can, make a huge impact. Obviously, you'd imagine there might be a bit of rustiness between the two. Probably more so with Sean O'Shea, because it's been longer since he played. And to be fair, David Clifford didn't show any rustiness, did he, when he scored that point? But here come Kerry with Tom O'Sullivan, just trying to be calm in possession and wait for the openings, but it does break down. And Kerry trying to come out with the ball with Bob Toohey, who came on just before the end of the half. Here we go. Mayo on the attack again. They might be in here maybe for another chance. And there is another point, and not too sure who's got it this time. I think this time around it's James Carr actually who gets the score. So it was a ball sent in there by Phil McDonough, I think maybe it was, and James Carr just gets in front of Shane Murphy just gets the fisted hand onto the ball and puts it over the bar. So Mayo 2-11 to 4 points, absolutely cruising. 13 points the margin. Kerry trying to make things happen, trying to play it into David Clifford. There's 2-3 men around him nearly at different times. Mayo are just very well set up and very well organised defensively, it has to be said. Kerry trying to wait for those openings. You get the feeling really that, if Kerry are to make anything of this game, they need to try go for goals to try and make something of a game. But realistically, at the same time, they just need to get scores on the board because they're being absolutely played off the park here. Big beating says days off. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. It is a huge beating. I mean, you're nearly losing score there. I mean, what is it, 13 points there at the minute? And like Kerry, is someone was saying earlier, like Kerry have had the majority of the possession. You're looking at it there. They've had the majority of the ball. They've kept the ball now for about 2-3 minutes, but they haven't done anything with it. They haven't really created anything super meaningful, or it's been like Mayo have just been very, very well organised. Pass into Dara Roach, but I think it might have went out over the sideline, or maybe he picked the ball up. I think he did pick the ball up, did he? He definitely did, yeah. So that's a right call. Mayo with that direct ball into Aidan O'Shea. Not sure what happened there. Was there a foul? Aidan O'Shea did he have his shirt pulled, or maybe he was pulling the shirt of one of the Mayo defenders? Yeah, I suppose he was there, wasn't he? But yeah, 45 minutes in. It's been comprehensive and comfortable really for Mayo, and to be fair, like I think Mayo are fairly happy to allow Kerry to have the ball because they're just not really doing much with it. 4 points after 45 minutes is not something we normally associate with Kerry, and there's a ball played into Dara Roach, but nothing really could do with it. Goes wide of the target. Stays at 2-11 to 4 points for now. And yeah, like from a Kerry fans perspective, I mean, definitely be curious to hear Kerry fans' opinion for anyone who's watching this stream now. What do you think about this game so far? Like, I mean, there does seem to be a lot wrong watching this game, and it has been a very uncharacteristic Kerry performance. But is it just a once off, or is it something more? I suppose only time will tell. I do still think they're favourites for the All Ireland. I don't think you push the panic button just yet. I think, look, when it comes to the business end of the championship, semi-finals, quarter-finals, that's really when you really sort of judge your Kerrys and your big teams, and even Mayo as well. I mean, you enjoy the big wins when they come, but at the end of the day, these two counties want to be winning All Irelands more than anything else. But from a Mayo perspective, to look this good this early on in the league and this early on under Kevin McStay, like that can definitely give them a load of confidence, in my opinion. And here come Aidan O'Shea, who's done well again. He's been involved. Mayo happy to keep possession themselves and take the sting out of Kerry. They're obviously the ones with the 13-point lead. They're in no rush. I suppose it's different for Kerry in this situation when you think of how well coached they've been defensively with Paddy Talley, obviously in the backroom team. Normally Kerry would have something to defend, so they could afford to be very defensive. But because of the fact they're so far behind, like they kind of need to take more risks, really, don't they? there was a effort there from Mayo perspective. I think it was from Jack Carney, goes well wide of the target. And stays at 2-11 to 4 points. I mean, I think someone said earlier, hopefully we get a game over, and hopefully, Kerry don't just run away with the game. It's been the complete opposite. It's been Mayo who've completely run away with it, haven't they? And it feels a bit like a nothing game going into these final 20 minutes, unless Kerry can really do something. Just 4 points so far in the game, 1 point in the second half. Killing the game now, and Mayo just happy to keep the ball. Kerry are kind of doing the same as well. You nearly wonder, do Kerry just, they're happy to keep the ball to keep the score down. They don't want to be on, they don't want to be on the end of too much of a beating. But here they go now, going down the other end. Their midfield's been fairly non-existent. O'Sullivan, that should be a score there. That's a good score from Kerry, their second point of the game, and it is Sean O'Shea's first point in 2023 for Kerry. So he puts it over on his left boot. You can just see the difference in quality in Kerry's attack when they have Sean O'Shea and David Clifford in there. The way they move, it's the quality levels of them is just beyond anything else that Kerry have. But you don't have those two lads available. It's a bit of a worry. Ball being played in there. This is going to be a point for Kerry. An instant response it is. It was a mark called by Stephen Cohen, and then he puts the ball over the bar. So Mayo regain their 13-point lead, 2-12 to 5 points. And Mayo are looking solid. They're looking absolutely solid. They haven't updated the score on TG Cahir, but it did look like it went over. So unless I've completely missed something there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Did that go over? Maybe it didn't go over. I'm not sure what's going on there, but here come Kerry going down the other end. $2-11 to 5 points in favour of the Kingdom. It's been comprehensive. It's been comfortable. The intensity has been brilliant from Mayo. The shooting has definitely sort of faded a little bit, and the more the second half has gone on. But I think from a Mayo perspective, it's more about managing the game, isn't it? And I think that's actually something that Mayo probably need to work on actually as well. To be fair, because I think that's something that's actually cost them in big games down the years in the James Horan era, and even under Stephen Rochford as well, has been that game management, seeing games out. And you've seen even against Armagh last week when they conceded those 5 late points. So I think that's a big thing for Mayo, is just game management. They have a big enough lead, but if Kerry can get 4 or 5 on the bounce, then all of a sudden you think, do they have a chance? So we will see what happens. But here come Kerry going down the other end with David Clifford. He's got 2 men around him, but was he being pulled back? The referee says he was being pulled back there. So that'll be a chance for Mr. Clifford to put this to an 11-point game. Let's see there. He's got David McBride just sort of pulling at him a little bit. I mean, didn't think there was that much in it, to be honest. Didn't think there was that much in it. Is Paddy Prendergast from 51 still alive? I don't think he is. No, I think he passed away. So the Mayo curse should be gone. But then again, some people often say, well, what about the substitutes? And I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. But I don't believe in any of that crack anyway. I think it's I don't think it goes down to anything spiritual why Mayo didn't see it out in 2017 when they really should have, you know. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, there have been some crazy things that have happened to Mayo in All Ireland finals with the own goals, and was it that 1996 point from Mead where it just bounced twice and then went over the bar quite bizarrely, but I've no idea. 2-11 to 5 points is the score. Clifford put that opportunity wide of the target, so stays as a 2-11 to 5 point game. Of course, some other scores from today. To remind people, Derry obviously beat Meath 2-15 to 1-7. That was a comprehensive and comfortable win for Derry, and probably one that a lot of people expected. Derry are looking very, very strong at the minute. Wicklow, they got a win against London, 116 to 1-9. And a big win for Antrim as well, away to Tipperary, 119 to 14 points. So Andy McEntee gets his first win, or his first league win as Antrim manager. I think his first win in total, actually. 119 to 14 points. So Antrim, you know, they're getting some big scores, it must be said. 119, that's quite a good margin to hit up there. But here come Kerry. A lot of cynical fouls going in now from a Mayo perspective, just really trying to slow Kerry down as much as possible. You know, I think they know that it probably suits Mayo just for Kerry to have frees from way out the field. Sean O'Shea being dragged back. I mean, it should be a black card. Definitely should be a black card there for whoever it was. I mean, that's surely what it was invented for, but I don't even think the referee's given a yellow. So that's interesting. But here goes. Is it Sean O'Shea? It is over the bar. It is Sean O'Shea. Brings it back down to an 11-point game. I just think there's 15 minutes on the clock plus injury time. Probably not going to be that much injury time, realistically speaking. So you're looking at it and thinking, I think this game is done and dusted, really. Stefano Cumber comes on for Darragh Roach. Interesting seeing that. I mean, Darragh Roach has been, he's been lively from a Kerry perspective. He scored 2 points. He's been probably one of the only players in the first half that done anything of any nature in the first half. But obviously Jack O'Connor wants to give Stefano Cumber the chance. And here goes David Clifford. He puts it over the bar. Another point for Kerry. They're starting to motor a little bit here, starting to get a bit into their groove. And I think we all expected them to hit a purple patch at some point. And maybe now is their purple patch. David Clifford with 2 points since coming on at half-time. 10 points. 14 minutes to go. I mean, we've seen Armagh cut what was a 5-point lead down going into the final couple of minutes in injury time. Maybe Kerry, if they can get a goal, they might just give themselves an opportunity. But at this point, it just looks a bit too far along. But it is a test for Mayo in terms of their game management and how they see out this game, because that has been something that's cost them in the past. But we will have to see as we go into the closing minutes. 2-12 to 7 points as it stands. Just looking at it there, I think 14 wides for Mayo, 7 for Kerry. Padraig says James O'Donoghue says O'Connor was big on the league. Yeah, he won. He won the league last year. You seen how he treated the league last year. How he even treated pre-season. David Clifford was playing in the McGrath Cup matches. So and to be fair, like he's gone nearly as strong as he could go. Like without Clifford, without Sean O'Shea, he started Tom O'Sullivan, Graham O'Sullivan, Jason Foley. Like he's gone as strong as he could go. Obviously, a few lads have been missing with club commitments and everything else. So, but you would expect them to probably start going as strong as possible when for the next game. You'd expect them to, you'd expect Clifford, David Clifford, Paddy Clifford, Sean O'Shea to start the next day. But here come Kerry going down the other end with Paddy Clifford, David Clifford now. 2 Mayo men around them. Nothing they can do to stop him. Puts it over the bar. Another big point there by David Clifford. This has been a good purple patch for Kerry. They're, just starting to kind of make the scoreboard a little bit more respectable. I think they've hit 4 points on the bounce now. Mayo probably just need to keep the ball a little bit more and try not to play themselves into turnovers. I feel like Mayo are still trying to get that next score and they're playing on the front foot, which is good, but at the same time, you run the risk of losing possession and giving it back to Kerry. Cillian O'Connor on the ball there. Obviously, a great asset to be bringing him on. And bringing him on and Kevin McLaughlin and these lads, like some great experienced heads to be bringing on. And here they go, Mayo going forward. Cillian O'Connor goes for the effort, but he does win the 45. So, 2-12 to 8 points will be a chance for Colm Reap to get another score for himself there. Gavin says not great games for neutrals, but sure Derry and Mayo fans aren't complaining. Yeah, it's still been good watches. Like there's been scores and it's been entertaining, but maybe from a competitive point of view, maybe not so much so. Like the Derry Mead game was over after 10 minutes, really. At least this game you're looking at it and thinking, 9 points between the teams there. Now 10 points. Colm Reap has just put that 45 over. I think there is a bit too much work for Kerry to do, but as you said there, Derry and Mayo fans will not be complaining. They'll be very happy with how they've looked. And you looked at Mayo's fixture list at the start and you've seen home to Galway, away to Armagh, home to Kerry. Three difficult games, and they've come out with 4 points. Fair enough. It's only one win if they see this game out. But they're putting their hand up for a possible league final, and it's definitely not inconceivable that Mayo don't push into that league final. Like they still have to play Donegal and Monaghan as well, who are probably two of the weaker sides in this league. That you'd expect Mayo to be beaten, looking at how those two teams are playing. So getting to a league final is definitely something that Kevin McStay should aim for, in my opinion. Podrick says, Christ, Clifford is some animal. He is, isn't he? And you see when he gets the ball, like he's got 2 men basically to his left-hand side and he's still able to work the space to score. Like he's virtually unmarkable, really. He's just unmarkable. Like in some ways, you'd nearly be better just leaving 1 man on him instead of putting 2 or 3 because he'll get past them anyway, and then he'll just leave space for other players. But yeah, 10 points between the sides with about 8 minutes to go plus injury time. A lot of work to be done from a Kerry perspective. They do get another score though. That's a good point this time from Paul Murphy. Gets into the space outside of the boo, bang over the bar. That's a vintage Paul Murphy point, and we've seen Kerry do more in the last like 5-10 minutes than the rest of the entire game. They'd only scored 4 points up until about 5 minutes ago. So they're starting to get into their groove, but I think it is just a little bit too little too late, unfortunately. Paddy Clifford is going off after 63 minutes, and we're now going to see, I think it's going to be, I'm not too sure who it is coming on there. But 9-point game. 9-point game between the two. I think Kerry really need a goal, don't they? They need a goal or two really to try and make something out of it. But Casey says possession not so good if it's just playing catch. Yeah, like, I mean, and that was what Kerry were doing at the start of the first half. Really, they weren't playing with much intensity, just sort of playing it around from side to side. And that's fine, I think, when you're in Mayo's position right now and you're in front. And to be fair to Mayo, like they've tried to keep playing on the front foot. But Mayo can afford to keep the ball because they have that lead, whereas Kerry don't. Kerry need to start making things happen, but they have in the last few minutes, to be fair to them. But here come Mayo now, going down the other end, trying to make something of it. And go bit of play. Might be a chance maybe for another goal. Takes the point. Probably the smart decision there. Good point there from McHugh. Dylan McHugh, I think it is, the young lad who's come in there. Good point. Could have went for the goal. Could have went for glory. Could have put the nail in Kerry's coffin, but decided to take the point and brings it back to a 10-point game. Kerry Mayo making a few changes. Like, just looking at it there, like Paddy Durkin coming on, and the thing is, like, we mentioned Kerry are missing players. Like, Mayo are missing players too. Like, they don't have Tommy Conroy. We'll see what the crack is with him when he maybe comes back. But Paddy Durkin didn't start. Cillian O'Connor didn't start. So like, the depth of Mayo's squad is very, very good. And I remember saying last year the depth of their squad is very, very good. Obviously when you lose key players like Ryan O'Donoghue, like, that's going to have a huge effect on the side. But yeah, like they've a lot of very good depth in their team, Mayo, and probably the most amount of squad depth they've had in quite some time. Rory says a little bit better from Kerry on Mayo. Yeah, I think the Mayo fans will be very, very happy indeed with how this game has gone. 2-13 to 9 points is the score there. Mayo 10 points to the good. Looking to add another one now at Ryan O'Donoghue. That's a brilliant point. It's actually not Ryan O'Donoghue. It's Jack Carney. Very, very good score from him. Gets the ball, just has a quick look up, slots it over the bar. Kerry, that probably sums them up defensively. Like, they haven't been able to get challenges in quick enough. You've seen Stefano Cumber there trying to get a challenge, and yeah, from a Kerry perspective, they just haven't quite been able to get those tackles and challenges in, really. And about 3 minutes to go plus injury time. Kerry, I mean, the game is done. Game is done at this point, and I think from a Kerry perspective, it's just about putting some gloss on the scoreboard. Here's David Clifford. Misses the target. It wasn't David Clifford, actually. It was might have been O'Sullivan, the midfielder. Puts it fairly well wide of the target. 11 points. Look, it's it's a statement win in more ways than one from Mayo, you'd have to say. It's a real statement win, and it puts, changes people's conversation about where they think Mayo are at and maybe where we see Kerry at. But we all would expect Kerry to hugely improve, obviously, as the weeks go on. And near Vanana says Mayo for Sam. There we go. Look, I'm sure the Mayo for Sam gang will be in full force tonight. A little bit too early for that, though. I think, if people are being serious with that, I think, sure Mayo fans have been down the road a long time with the whole Mayo for Sam thing. What I'd say is don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap just yet. Wait till All-Ireland quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then let's see, But it is looking very good, and you have to say this performance has been excellent. And if Mayo can keep up this intensity and play like this for the business end of the championship, that'd be hugely important. But there is a goal for Kerry in the back of the net. Good goal, consolation goal. If anything, it was a ball played in there, I think, by Paul Murphy, caught by O'Sullivan, turns. I think it was Paddy Durkin picking him up there, and back of the net there for Barry O'Sullivan, I think it is there. I don't want to say his first name in case I get it wrong, but it is Barry O'Sullivan. So good goal there from Barry O'Sullivan, the midfielder. Adds a bit more, makes the scoreline a little bit more respectable, maybe you could say, but still 8 points between them. Time left, there's 20 seconds left of normal time. So, and there's probably only going to be 2-3 minutes at a time. I wouldn't imagine there'd be too much else, really. But yeah, 2-14 to 1-9. Kerry now going down. Here they are again on the attack. There might be a chance for another goal here, but they're going to take the point. And they do take the point. Good score there from Dara Moynihan. 7 points. I mean, if Kerry had a bit more time, you'd think like maybe they could do something. But to be fair, like they probably could have worked a goal chance there. But I think Kerry even themselves know that this game is gone, and there's not a huge amount of effort to try claw the lead back. And I think Kerry will be saving their best selves until later in the year. We will update that score now in just a brief moment. Here come Mayo now trying to get something with and the Hessian. 3 minutes of injury time. Let me know your thoughts on the game and everything else. I think from a Mayo perspective, you're absolutely delighted with the intensity that Mayo have shown and the effort that they've shown. But yeah, fairly drab stuff from Kerry. I mean, even here, like no one at all there picking up. Was it James Carr? I think it was who had an effort there. Like no one was completely picking him up at all. Like no one go near him. Might have been Paddy Durkin actually who had that effort. Like there was no one even trying to challenge him there. He dropped it short in the end, so it didn't matter. But yeah. Casey says the curse is likely Lore and Pishero, but mitts are more powerful than we realise. No more excuses for the green and red. Yeah, look, that's it, isn't it? You can make as much excuses as you like down the years, but you have to. It's about doing the business, isn't it? It's about putting it out there on the pitch, and it wasn't a curse's fault that Cillian O'Connor missed that big opportunity in 2016 in the replay, or I think hit the post in 2017 as well. It's just one of them things. One of them things. Padraig says, fair play to you. Lads say hard to do the watch-alongs on your own. I've done a good few of them but on my own by now, so I'm kind of used to it, to be fair. But yeah, no, appreciate the comment and everything else. It's good crack, good fun, all the rest. How long is left, says Ryan or Rian or whatever way you want your name to be said. There's about a minute left of injury time. Looks like Colm Reap might have picked up a bit of an injury, so maybe the ref might add on another minute or two, but 7 points to go with, less than 2 minutes left, you would say. Less than a minute left. I think the referee will probably just call it at 74 minutes because there has been anything else. Colm Reap, but a bit of a lax kick out there. He just about got away with it. Kerry maybe nearly in for a late goal, but Matthew Rowan getting there just in the nick of time. Padraig says Kevin McStay to get a few military generals in to get Mayo lads on the winning path. Yeah, look, I'm sure they'll be well trained, well drilled, and look, I don't know Kevin McStay's background personally, but it can't be the worst thing. Jim Gavin has a huge military background, and look where it led him, so. But yeah, yellow card for Darragh Moynihan there to wrap things up. You'd imagine this game should finish in any minute. Cillian O'Connor playing it in. Brian O'Donoghue just venturing forward with the ball. Kerry, and there is the final whistle and a big result. The Mayo fans come racing onto the pitch there. Absolutely great news for them. You've seen Cillian O'Connor there trying to get off the pitch as quickly as possible. There's a lot of fans running onto that pitch there, but so much for keeping the fans off the pitch at McHale Park, as they say. But look, the fans are entitled to celebrate that one, and what result it was. It finishes Mayo 2-14, Kerry 1-10. Massive result for Mayo. A first win of the Kevin McStay era, and what a win for it, or first league win of the Kevin McStay era, and what a way to do it against the All-Ireland champions in a very, very comfortable, comprehensive and dominant win from Mayo. I mean, the scoreline probably makes it look a little bit more respectable than what it is, but mark my words, this was a domination, an absolute hammering in more ways than one from Mayo, who were absolutely superb. Started on the front foot, started fast with that early Ryan O'Donoghue goal. The intensity that they brought in the first half, the running off the shoulder, it was vintage Mayo, and organised chaos is what they call it. But that was very organised, and they were very organised in attack and organised in defence. Jordan Flynn, outstanding performance from him, man of the match, 4 points. You can see when Aidan O'Shea, when the ball would be lofted into Aidan O'Shea, Jordan Flynn was often the first man he'd find. And he was outstanding, and he was doing that work around the middle, playing as an extra man in midfield, but he was breaking the lines as well between defence and attack, and he was, physically such a hard player to stop, and he was absolutely outstanding. He was very, very good, I felt. Very, very good performance. And I think one main positive thing from a Mayo perspective is that they're getting scores from a lot of different players. I mean, James Carr has come on leaps and bounds under Kevin McStay. He's starting to add a lot of consistency to his game. Another banging goal from him with his right boot. No way the keeper could save it. Low and hard, as they say. Fantastic finish. 2 points as well to go with it. And Aidan O'Shea didn't score, but again, he was getting into the right places at the right time, setting up scores, winning fouls, and it looks like Mayo are finally getting the best out of Aidan O'Shea after all these years. Since 2017, really 2018, really, since we've seen him consistently at his brilliant best. So that's great to see from a Mayo perspective. And defensively, they were just able to shut out Kerry, who were struggling to do that. And I suppose, speaking about Kerry, I mean, very, very abject performance from them in the first half. And yes, you can look at it and think you have players missing, and David Clifford and Sean O'Shea came on at half time. Paudie Clifford was fairly anonymous. You know, you nearly forget he was out there playing. Like, he got substituted with about 5 minutes to go and didn't really have too much of an impact in the game. You know, it was a tough game for him to get involved in, to be fair, the way the sort of game was flowing. You know, he struggled, but yeah, it was disappointing. Like, Donald O'Sullivan didn't get much ball played into him, to be fair. Struggled. Darragh Roach looked good in the first half at times with 2 scores, but yeah, it was just very, very lackluster and abject, and shooting wise as well from Kerry perspective. You know, you wouldn't associate them with the wides that they had. I mean, I seen on the GA Statsman's stats for the Mayo Kerry game. Kerry had 23% accuracy in the first half. You know, that is atrocious. You know, that is really, really poor and not something you'd normally associate with Kerry. Look, there's no reason for panic. You know, I still have Kerry as favourites. You've seen, even when David Clifford and Sean O'Shea came on, you know, it took a bit of time, but once Kerry got into their groove, you could see, you know, the talent levels that they have. You could see how good they are. And David Clifford, you know, was only on the pitch for a half, but looked very, very good at times, you know, and he was causing havoc. He was causing problems for the Mayo defence. But, you know, you would look at Kerry defensively and think they only conceded 2 goals, I think, in the league and championship last year. They conceded 2 goals in that first half, and they were cut open on a couple of occasions and, you know, arguably could have conceded more goals. So that sort of defensive solidity that we associate with Kerry from Paddy Talley coming in as a defensive coach and coming into the backroom team, that wasn't on display at all. And then it was their strongest fullback line, like Tom O'Sullivan, Graham O'Sullivan, and Jason Foley all started in the All-Ireland final. Tadhg Morley started as well. Paul Murphy started. You know, you still have Gavin White to come back and Shane Ryan, but generally speaking, it was Kerry's best defence, more or less, that they had available to them. And they were just cut open, you know, absolutely cut to pieces. And that would be a worry, I think, from a Jack O'Connor perspective, because that is something that they do need to work on. But you don't want to panic too much. It's only when you start seeing these results consistently that you would panic from a Kerry perspective. But I think they're still the favourites, in my opinion, for the All-Ireland. They'll still be thereabouts. But from a Mayo perspective, you know, they will be absolutely overjoyed with, you know, their fans will be absolutely delighted. Their first win over Kerry since the Super 8s in 2019, actually. So that goes to show how long, you know, it's been a good couple of years, 4 years since Mayo last beat Kerry in either league or championship. So massive, massive win for the Mayo men. And I suppose a word on Mayo's defence. You know, we were talking about Kerry not having their, you know, some of their best players available to them. But let's not forget that Mayo, Lee Keegan retired. Ushie Mullins gone to play AFL. You've got David McBride coming into that fullback line. Rory Brickenden. Enda Hession's been a player who's sort of been on the fringes the last couple of years and played a little bit, but sometimes at wing back. You know, and he's the most experienced player in that fullback line, and you know, he's only been playing like 2 or 3 years. So yeah, Colm Reap, you know, new man between the sticks. So look, for Mayo to look as good as they did defensively in the first half, you know, Kerry couldn't get any goal chances. They struggled to create opportunities, and it was all down to the great work of Mayo's defence, I felt, who done a very, very good job. And yes, they conceded that goal from Barry O'Sullivan late on, but I think that was just more of a consolation than anything else, in my opinion. Plenty of comments flying in there. Podrick Stacks says, should TG Cahir have English commentary too? I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, some would say maybe they should, but I suppose it is you know, I suppose the whole point is for people to be speaking Oscuelga and learn the language. And I suppose if you could switch it into English, it would probably, you know, it'd probably take that away. But Rory says, wasn't expecting that win. And can Kerry come back from this? And yeah, look, I think they will. You know, I think when you get David Clifford, Sean O'Shea starting the next day, you know, they'll be fine. You know, they won't be, fair enough, they've lost 2 of their opening 3 games, but they're not going to be in any relegation battles. Like they'll be perfectly fine. And once we get to the business end of the championship, they'll be ticking, you know, and they will be thereabouts. But there is a good bit to work on, certainly. Like defensively, I think there's a good bit to work on. And maybe the mentality a little bit, because they did look like a lack of effort at times from Kerry in that game. And fair enough, it is the league, and it's early days and everything else, and it's not an All-Ireland final, it's not an All-Ireland semi-final, but you want to see consistency. And I think what led Kerry to be as good as what they were last year was their consistency in the league. And winning breeds confidence. You want to win trophies, you want to be as successful as you can be, and also what you've done is given Mayo the edge. And if Mayo and Kerry play each other in the championship, Kevin McStay will tell his troops that, look, you went out there and you bet them already once this year, just go out and do it again. And those kind of results and those kind of things stand to you. So huge result for Mayo. Jordan Flynn, man of the match in my opinion. I thought he was outstanding. One man of the match on TG Caher as well, and rightly so. I think he was brilliant, like defensively as well, outstanding. But there's not a Mayo player you can fault. Like midfield, Matthew Rowan, Jeremy O'Connor, very good. Boat looked very, very solid. So a solid performance from Mayo from 1 to 15. Colm Reap scoring a couple of 45s. So a lot to be positive for from a Mayo perspective. I don't think it's time for the Mayo for Sam Brigade and all this crack just yet. I think Mayo fans have been down that road on more than one occasion, and obviously it hasn't quite worked out. But look, enjoy the win, enjoy it, celebrate it. Just don't get too ahead of yourselves, because there's a long way to go yet. There's a lot of work to be done, and when we get to August, or obviously not August, it will be May or June. Mayo already in an All-Ireland quarterfinals, semi-finals, which I think they should be, and I think they will be, as long as they keep playing like this. That's then when I think you start to dream. Start to dream. But look, hugely enjoy the win, because it was outstanding. And if Mayo can keep playing like that, and if they play like that in the business end of the championship, there'll be some team to beat. And the thing is about Mayo is that they just never really go away, do they? They never go away, and I think they will be thereabouts this year, in my opinion. But let me know your opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're watching live, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, be much appreciated. And if you're watching the match reaction after, hit the like button. All the rest, subscribe. And we'll be going live tomorrow for the watch along of the Dublin and Cork game with Matthew Hurley. So Division 2 Classic, the Capital against Cork. So that should be hugely entertaining. And be watching a few of the other games as well. Roscommon going up against Armagh. That'll be another great game to watch as well. I suppose lastly, Keane says Kerry were well off it tonight, and they certainly were. They have a lot to work on. But cheers anyone who tuned in, and see you all later.